Hi, I'm Deborah Callahan, and anyone who knows my journey to healing knows that I'm a firm believer in always seeking out alternative tools, especially when mainstream tools just aren't working. Like in healing the body, for instance, there's a whole host of things to explore: food, addressing nutritional deficiencies, functional medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, naturopathic medicine, chiropractic care, acupuncture, infrared sauna. And I found so many missing pieces of my health puzzle in all of them. And I found that it's the same thing. There's the same buffets available to support mental health, other than or in addition to seeing a traditional psychotherapist. So even though some of these tools are not for everyone, I'd like to present them as options, because no matter what you're struggling with, there are always options. Today, my guest is Ruthie Cohen-Joyner. Ruthie started out as a clinical nutritionist and registered dietitian after receiving her master's in public health nutrition from UNC Chapel Hill. She's now an EFT and matrix imprinting practitioner, hypnotherapist, and Akashic records consultant. Ruthie's healing programs can be found in the world's most popular well-being app, Insight Timer. Welcome, Ruthie.
Hello, Deborah. I'm excited to be here with you today.
So I'm so curious, what prompted the switch from educating people about their nutrition to doing what you do now?
Well, to answer that, I'd have to go back to my childhood and my own struggle with eating and weight and food that started probably around 13 and then really escalated, I guess you would say, with my father's passing. When I was 27, he was 57. And I went from being somewhat overweight, somewhat overeating, to just full-blown emotional eating, binge eater, gained 35 pounds, I say in 10 minutes. Obviously, it wasn't really 10 minutes, but very quickly. And at the time, I was working in health promotion dietitian. And so I'm in front of people this was during the low fat days. So I'm telling people, eat low fat. And then I'm going through cookout on the way home, getting a milkshake and burger and fries, to stuff down my grief. Anyway, so I basically found out that knowing nutrition, having 2 degrees, undergrad and grad degree in nutrition, didn't change my eating. It didn't work for me. So, do you want me to go ahead and go into the EFT part of this story?
Sure.
Okay.
If that's how you get, yeah, I would love, yeah, sure.
Okay. So all of that was around 1990 or so. And from there was a lot of loss in my life in the early 90s. As a matter of fact, there were 9 deaths in my family, including both of my parents, from 1989 to 97, I think. And during that time, my older daughter was born and had a stroke at birth. And she's fine. She's a young adult now and working and productive and all that. But anyway, so it was a really rough time. And so I was on antidepressants for a while and had a rough time in the early 90s. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward until 2009. And I found EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, on Dr. Mercola's website, looking for more nutrition information, still thinking that nutrition information was going to fix it. I found this silly looking modality, EFT, where you literally tap on your face. And my first reaction was, this is ridiculous. But I decided to give it a try, and I was amazed at how it actually did calm me down, because it's really good for calming stress and anxiety. And from there, I found the 2011 Tapping World Summit, which led to becoming certified as an EFT practitioner, and major shift in the way I do things. So that was probably a very long answer to your first question.
That's a fabulous, and I never knew that, actually. So tell us more about EFT and why it's so helpful to so many people.
Boy, that's a big question too.
Okay.
So EFT, again, emotional freedom techniques, or tapping for short, or a lot of people say EFT tapping these days, is a modality that is known as a form of energy psychology, where you're literally using the same meridians in the body that are used in traditional Chinese medicine. So like you were talking about acupuncture and acupressure. same meridian. So you're literally tapping on these meridian endpoints. So you're stimulating the meridians and it calms the body. So you're working on a emotional, mental, and physical, and I believe spiritual level, all at the same time. So I personally find for myself and for my clients that we feel like it's faster than talk therapy as far as healing whatever it is you want to heal. So I have just found EFT to be amazing in so many things. You can use it for physical pain, emotional pain, healing traumas. It's actually even approved by the Veterans Administration for PTSD with veterans. Mm-hmm. There's, last I knew, 120 different studies on EFT, and several of them by peer review, well-researched universities, et cetera, high quality research studies showing that it works for anxiety, depression, PTSD, and several other things. Oh, cravings. It's wonderful for reducing cravings. So,
fabulous.
Yeah.
And I know you've become an expert in tapping. And I also know that you've added some other tools to your own clinical toolbox recently. Would you like to talk about those?
Yeah. So I am trained in hypnotherapy and sometimes bring that in, but my favorite in the last few years is Akashic record reading. And so the way I explain the Akashic records, and I say it that way because I recently listened to an Akashic record summit. And on the summit, the interviewer asked everybody, so what are the Akashic records? And everybody had a different answer. Mm-hmm. So I don't think there is one pat answer that fits for everybody, but this is the way I explain it. If you imagine God, universe, source, creator, whatever your term is for the divine, as like an overarching rainbow over all of us, that we all have access to this level of divine love and support all the time. And then you imagine that we're all walking around with little thought bubbles above our head. So like cartoon thought bubbles, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So if you imagine you have this little thought bubble above your head, this is your soul's guidance, your particular personal divine guidance just for your soul. So some Akashic record readers focus on past life stuff. Some focus on future stuff. So it can be different things. But what I have found when I do Akashic record readings or when I use Akashic records, so opening the Akashic records before an EFT tapping session, is that it just allows you to be more intuitive, more in tune. So I'm able to be more in tune, I guess, and the client is. So it's amazing that it has really, I'll say it's kind of like tapping on steroids. You know, it's just really kicked it up a notch, and it's just beautiful. I absolutely love it.
So even if the client is not aware of their intuitive abilities, it makes them more intuitive, in your opinion?
That's a great question. I would say that for those that are ready for it, yes, some are not as aware of it. But I'll say I've got a new client right now that all of this is new to her. And yet she even feels like, wow, I can feel that. I can tell a difference. And I feel like I'm getting things that I never got before. So you don't have to be experienced, skilled, or whatever to get more intuitive hits, if you will, when you have your records open.
Okay. So, you know, you and I have talked about how like most of our struggle in life comes from a basic feeling of unworthiness. And that's what you find yourself working on with clients over and over again.
Yep.
So, you know, why do we need help? Why do we need assistance in healing our own unworthiness?
Big question there, Deborah. So I'm going to refer to a sermon that I heard with Margaret Heller, who is the Unity minister at Unity Myrtle Beach Church. And in the beginning of COVID, when we were first doing church services on Facebook, YouTube, whatever, I heard her say something along the line of, I don't know if she said it is our most important purpose, or one of our most important purposes on this planet is to be mirrors for each other. Because when you're not looking in the mirror, you can't see yourself, right?
Right.
You can't see your stuff. You can't see what's holding you back. You can't see your blocks. So when you work with someone else, and it could be a friend, a therapist, a coach, whoever, that person can serve as your mirror and help you to see, oh, there is more to me than just my I'm not good enough and something's wrong with me, blah, blah story that's going on in the back of the head all the time. Like a bad radio station, kind of playing back here saying, I'm not good enough. Something's wrong here.
Right, exactly. So, like anyone doing that work, the more I become aware of my own feelings of unworthiness, the more I realize I have so much more to heal. Like it just like, oh gosh, I haven't looked at this. What? I thought I've healed this. Now it's coming up again. So I think as long as we have an ego, can we really ever be done with working on our unworthiness?
That's a great question. I really don't think so. And you know why? Because life continues to happen. Life continues, things keep coming at you. Somebody's going to hurt your feelings. Something's going to happen. Somebody else is going to pass. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are going to bring up your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I see it as learning and growth opportunities. Have you ever heard the term AFGO? AFGO?
No.
It stands for another effing growth opportunity.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So if you think of whenever things happen that kind of trigger you, because we all get triggered, right? There's always going to be something. I mean, have a conversation with your mother and it can bring up stuff where it brings up all your unworthiness or whatever. There's a saying that your parents trigger you so much because they're the one who installed the buttons. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Mom.
Yeah, really. My mom's not living, but still, yeah, sorry to all the moms. And we're moms. So,
it's true, right?
Our kids would feel the same way. I'm sure we trigger them too.
Yes. Also, sorry, girls.
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
So what do you find when you're able to help people release their unworthiness?
Well, as you said, it's an ongoing process. I say it's like brushing your teeth. You do it every day. It's not a one and done. Boy, I wish it was. But do you not find that? So I've been working on my stuff more diligently, I guess is one word for looking at it, for the last 10 years. And if I look back to who I was 10 years ago to who I am today, there's a huge difference. But am I perfect? Do I feel worthy all the time? No, of course not.
Mm.
So would you say the same thing, that you can see huge progress, but
For
not?
sure. For sure. Yeah. So with all your clinical experience, what's the most effective tool that you've discovered so far to help people release their unworthiness?
Well, of course, I'm going to say tapping, but I want to give a little plug for matrix reimprinting for a moment and explain what that is. So matrix reimprinting is an offshoot of EFT, where literally the younger you becomes the client. So let's say something traumatic happened to you when you were 5 years old. Let's just say your parents got divorced. That's a pretty common one. So you as the 5-year-old don't understand that daddy left because it's not because of you, right?
Right.
So in matrix reimprinting, what we do is we imagine, so we would work together and we would imagine going back to be with the 5-year-old self. It's inner child work, and there's many versions of inner child work, but we go back and we work with the 5-year-old self and we do tapping with her. We help her work through her feelings. We help her get to a place of understanding. And a lot of times giving her what it is she needed. And what she needed was information. A lot of times she needed to be seen. She needed to be seen, heard, and understood. And information. Daddy left because he and mommy can't get along, not because you broke the lamp. Whatever it is that she needs is what we do in matrix reimprinting. And I have seen amazing shifts after a matrix reimprinting session. So combining all of these tools, the Akashic records, EFT, and matrix reimprinting, I have seen lives completely changed.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So would you be willing to take us through a mini session?
Yeah. So I think it would be fun to play with unworthiness, since that is something that everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but the majority of people have some version of, to different levels. So I do want to kind of do two disclaimers here. One, if you choose to tap with me today, that you are taking full responsibility for your own emotional well-being. So that's the first one. The second one is that we're going to keep this very generic and just vague because we're not working on a specific issue with a specific person. And I want to tell you that EFT is not as effective that way as it is when you're more specific. So we have a saying in EFT to be terrific, be specific. And so we're not able to do this. So we're going to keep it vague. That's not to say you won't get some benefit from it.
Okay.
So I'm going to give a quick explanation of how to do EFT. Then we're going to open our Akashic records. So anybody listening, if you will just see this as you're entering sacred time, sacred space. So maybe turn off distractions, let go of the phone, maybe light a candle, really get into this space so that you can get something out of it. I think it'd be helpful. So I'm going to explain EFT. We're going to open the records, and then we're going to do some tapping in the records. Okay. Okay. So EFT, the shortened version of how to do it is that we start tapping on the side of the hand. And if, Deborah, if you want to go ahead and do this with me, you can. Actually, hang on a minute. Before we do this, I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and get a number 0 to 10 of how stressed you are in the moment. So 10 being super, super stressed, freaked out, 0, totally calm, zen, like you've just done a meditation. So get that number. Go ahead and get yours right now, Deborah, just for fun.
You want me to tell you mine?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, right now here being present with you, it's probably about a 4.
Okay.
But if there are other things I could think about where I could actually get more stressed.
I'm sure you're right. But okay, we're going to start with the 4 just for fun. And the reason I'm having you do this is because even though I'm just going to demo how to do tapping, just doing the tapping itself may calm you. So I just want everybody to have that opportunity to get a little calming before we even get started. So go to the side of the hand with me. So when we actually do the tapping in a few minutes, I'm going to ask you to follow along with me and repeat after me. And we're going to start here on the side of the hand, and we're going to do what's called a set up phrase or balancing statement. And that is going to be something like, even though I feel so unworthy, I'm okay. So it's an even though whatever's really going on, we do truth telling in EFT. We don't do spiritual bypassing or positive, happy affirmations when that's not how you feel. We tell the truth. So even though whatever's going on, something positive. So we'll do that 3 times on the side of the hand. And then we'll do what's called a round. And I start on the eyebrow point, which is right between the eyebrows, 2 fingers, gently tapping, and we'll do what's called a reminder phrase. So for today's purpose, it might be, I feel unworthy. Okay, we're going to keep it simple today. Our next point is the side of the eye, and you can do this with 1 hand or 2, and it's right on the bone, not back on the temple. Our next point is under the eye. The next one is under the nose. The next point is called the chin, but it's actually this little cleft between the lip and the chin. And then our next point is called the collarbone, but you're actually going to find your collarbones or bone. You can do it on either side. Go down about 1 inch and out about 1 inch. So yeah, it's a little bit lower than the collarbone, a little bit further out. This one's my favorite one, and you can do it one-handed. So like if you're driving, so since you used to live in Charlotte, you'll get this. If I have to drive on 77, then I'm probably going to be tapping with one hand while I'm driving. So, and then the next point is the underarm point. So it is about down at the bottom of the bra line for the ladies. And some people like to do the same side like I do. Some like to do the crossbody thing. And then the last point, let me get this back up here, is the top of the head. Now, if you go to YouTube and you watch whoever, and I have a YouTube channel if you want to do some tapping with me on YouTube. But anyway, a lot of people start on the top of the head. There's no right or wrong. Okay. All right. So I'm going to ask you to stop tapping. So most people find that even a teeny bit of tapping when it's not even focused on anything, feel a difference. And I tell you that because even if you only get the points, and even if you get some of them, you don't even have to remember all of them, it can be calming to the nervous system. So I was speaking to a group of Girl Scouts the other night, and I was saying before a test, just anytime you need some calming, Just start tapping, and you can just pick one point. You don't have to try to remember them all. Anyway, I digress. All right, so I'm going to pull up my little prayer. So give me a second. Okay.
Your prayer to open the records, is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yes. All right. So to open our records, I'm going to ask, I think we'll skip the name part. All right. So what I want to ask you to do is just close your eyes for a moment and take a deep, nourishing breath with me. And bring your intention and attention into your heart space. And with your attention here in your heart, I want you to think about someone, human or animal, on the planet or not, who's really special to you. Someone that when you think about them, just puts a smile on your face, just brings you into a happy place. And I'm going to ask you to let yourself really feel that energy, that elevated emotion of thinking about the special someone. And now, keeping your eyes closed if you wish, I'm going to open our records with this prayer. We step into the love, light, grace, healing, and power of the divine, where all things truly are possible, and I invoke the healing power of the violet flame. Our hearts, minds, bodies, and souls are open and ready to receive all the divine love, guidance, and healing that is available for us today. We choose to receive this gift with curiosity, love, joy, and excitement. And we allow ourselves to be filled with new energy and new possibilities today and every day. And we raise our vibration and our frequency to the highest level possible for us and those that we serve at this time. Let this be fun, easy, and divinely guided with love. And so it is. So now you can open your eyes, and I'm going to grab a sip of water. If you have anybody listening, it's important to be well hydrated when you do tapping. So let's grab a sip if you have something, and then we'll start tapping. Actually, we're going to use that 0 to 10 scale a little bit differently. So I want you to think about how worthy you feel in this moment. And don't analyze it. Don't really get into it. Just the first thing that comes to you. 10 being, I feel 100% worthy. I'm fabulous. I get that I'm a divine being. Life is wonderful. Great. Yes. 0 is not at all. I feel completely unworthy. So get that number 0 to 10. And Deborah, I'm going to pick on you and let you share your number.
Okay. I got like a 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So hopefully everybody's had a chance to do this, and we're going to go ahead and start tapping. So going to the side of the hand. Let's take a deep breath here. Even though there is a part of me, I should have said that, repeat after me.
Okay.
Even though there is a part of me.
Even though there's a part of me.
That feels unworthy.
That feels unworthy.
That feels not good enough.
That feels not good enough.
That feels undeserving.
That feels undeserving.
Right here and right now, I'm okay.
Right here and right now, I'm okay.
So even though there is a part of me that feels unworthy.
So even though there's a part of me that feels unworthy.
I'm choosing to just accept how I feel.
I'm choosing to just accept how I feel.
So even though there is a part of me that feels unworthy.
So even though there's a part of me that feels unworthy.
There is a wiser, braver part of me.
There is a wiser, braver part of me.
A divine part of me.
A divine part of me.
That knows that I truly am worthy.
That knows that I truly am worthy.
And I'm choosing to tune into that part today.
And I'm choosing to tune into that part today.
All right, we're going to do a round of tapping. Going to the eyebrow. I don't feel worthy.
I don't feel worthy.
Side of the eye. I don't remember ever feeling worthy.
I don't remember ever feeling worthy.
Under the eye. I don't feel good enough.
I don't feel good enough.
Under the nose. This is an old way of thinking.
This is an old way of thinking.
Chin. This is an old patterned way of thinking.
This is an old patterned way of thinking.
Collarbone. And I've been holding on to this for a long time.
And I've been holding on to this for a long time.
Under the arm and believing it is true.
And believing it is true.
Top of the head. Maybe I feel not thin enough.
Maybe I feel not thin enough.
Eyebrow. Not smart enough.
Not smart enough.
Side of the eye. Not educated enough.
Not educated enough.
Under the eye. Not, I don't know, what's another example? Tall enough.
Not tall enough.
Under the nose. There could be a lot of reasons why I feel unworthy.
There could be a lot of reasons why I feel unworthy.
Chin. And I've been trained to believe they are true.
And I've been trained to believe they are true.
Collarbone. From my family and from my society.
From my family and from my society.
Underarm. I've bought into this.
I bought into this.
Top of the head. I've believed it was true.
I believed it was true.
Back to the eyebrow. But what if it's not true?
But what if it's not true?
Side of the eye. What if it's just a lie?
What if it's just a lie?
Under the eye. What if it's just a lie that somebody made up to keep me from being in my power?
What if it's a lie that somebody made up to keep me from being in my power?
Maybe society has used this to keep us from being in our power.
Maybe society has used this to keep us from
From being in our
power.
Chin. Maybe it's part of the patriarchal system.
Maybe it's part of the patriarchal system.
Collarbone. I wonder what would happen if I didn't buy into it anymore.
I wonder what would happen if I didn't buy into it anymore.
Under the arm. I wonder if I can start believing in my worthiness.
I wonder if I can start believing in my worthiness.
The head. I wonder if I can start stepping into my divine power.
I wonder if I can start stepping into my divine power.
So we're going to finish this round, but I'm going to ask you to sit really tall, straight. So
Okay.
we're doing a power pose, if you will.
Okay.
Okay, so we're stepping into our power and we're going to finish this round. I'm stepping into my power.
I'm stepping into my power.
Side of the eye. I'm remembering who I am.
I'm remembering who I am.
Under the eye. I am remembering that I am a divine being.
I'm remembering that I'm a divine being.
Having a human experience.
Having a human experience.
Under the nose. And that my ego tells me all kinds of lies.
And then my ego tells me all kinds of lies.
Chin. But I'm remembering who I am today.
But I'm remembering who I am today.
Collarbone. I am remembering my divine power.
I'm remembering my divine power.
Again, I'm letting go of as much unworthiness as I can today.
And I'm letting go of as much unworthiness as I can today.
Top of the head. And I am so, so grateful.
And I am so, so grateful.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to stop tapping. Put your hands over your heart. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And with your shoulders back and your head held high, I want you to really bring in that energy of worthiness, of remembering who you are, that you are a divine being having a human experience. And really allow yourself to feel that as much as possible. And maybe just for fun, imagine yourself being bathed in that violet energy of the violet flame, healing you, releasing that unworthiness, and allowing you to step more fully into your power. And let's take one last deep, nourishing breath together. Opening your eyes, hopefully coming back feeling renewed, refreshed, and a little more powerful than you were to begin with. So I'm going to ask you, where would you say your worthiness is now after
Oh,
just that little bit of tap?
probably like an 8 or so. Yeah.
So it's amazing that we didn't even get into all the reasons for your unworthiness or anything, but it really can shift that easily. Now, if we were working together privately, we would get into, so where did the unworthiness come from?
Mhm.
And we would do healing, probably using matrix reimprinting to go into the past and heal the specifics. But even without that, you can get a shift. So yeah, I love this stuff.
It's fabulous. That was beautiful. Thank you for
You're
that.
so welcome.
I can feel the shift actually.
Cool.
So if you would like to try any of these amazing tools that Ruthie has to help with your healing, I'll put all of her information down below the video. And you can always find out more about her on Insight Timer, which is a free app, right? Correct?
Sure.
It's free. Yeah. So, and if you think that this video could help someone you know who's struggling or looking for options, actually, please like and share this video. Thank you so much for joining me today, Ruthie. It was such a treat.
Well, thank you for having me today, Deborah.
Take care.